Yeah, after two riveting cricket segments, let's now talk football on the SportsMax Zone. Trinidad and Tobago Football Association Technical Director Anton Corneal is among the first set of graduates from the FIFA Technical Leadership Diploma Program. The program that started in May of 2023 culminated with a graduation ceremony at the FIFA Museum in Zurich earlier this month. Now, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, Kieran Edwards, extended congratulations. He said, Anton's achievement in completing the first ever FIFA Technical Leadership Diploma is a milestone for Trinidad and Tobago football. It is not solely a personal achievement reflecting his dedication, but also our nation's commitment to raising the bar in football education and development. Stephen Martins, FIFA Director of Global Football Development, also congratulated Corneal. Many congratulations to Anton for graduating from the first ever edition of the FIFA Technical Leadership Diploma. The future of global football requires expert leaders across the world, and we believe this qualification will help us achieve that aim. We are excited to see how each graduate from the diploma will help shape and influence the future of football in the years to come. Here to tell us more about this achievement is the man himself, Anton Corneal. Mr. Corneal, good afternoon. Welcome to the SportsMax Zone. It's a pleasure to have you. How are you doing today, sir?
I am doing very well. Really appreciate you having me on your program.
I want us to start from the beginning. And can you give us an idea of how you got into this program?
Interestingly enough, I knew they were looking for persons that cross-sect a lot of areas in the game, not just as a coach or a coach educator, but a little bit of an administrator. I've been fortunate to have worked in different programs and departments in FIFA and at CONCACAF. So I think it might have seemed as though it was a good investment, having someone that's in a position to give back, not to their own country only, but to the region.
Yeah. And was this something that you had to go through an application process, and what was that like?
Yes. I had to go through an application process. Also, I think in the actual program, I'm the only one in the CONCACAF region that actually got an opportunity to take part in the program. And I think I was even more excited because it's really an opportunity to share the information with others in our region.
Yeah. Tell us about the program now, because it started in May 2023. So we're talking about, what, 18 months the program lasted. Take us through what it was like.
Interestingly enough, first I'd like to say it was a lot of work, a lot more work than I ever expected. But we started in Brazil, where we used Brazil as a place where culture played a pivotal role in the development of football in Brazil. We were able to see how it was aligned, the culture to their dance, their creativity, how they saw that in their game model. Interestingly enough, when we visited Brazil, we had opportunities to have panel discussions with former national players, men and women. And there were areas of concern that they thought they might have been even losing some of their culture, that players were leaving at such a young age, going to Europe, and the player that comes back may not seem to be a Brazilian player. So it was really a deep insight in Brazil, where we were able to have a look at their culture and how it's aligned to their development. And then we went to Japan, which was interesting because two different cultures completely, and how does it affect the development of the game? Japan was a lot more disciplined, a lot more organized, a lot more structured, and some of the highlights did not even come from football. One was visiting Toyota, and we looked at their structure, their structural organization in the Toyota company, and we saw areas where they allowed everyone in the company, regardless of level, to have a say when it comes to improving the Toyota brand. We went to sumo wrestling which I thought was fascinating. It's one of the times I actually took the most notes, where we looked at sumo wrestling as high performance, persons giving their all for an hour and a half in a training center and still having the respect and discipline for each other. And I thought that was interesting, with the coach having very little input during that training session, and there was so much to take away from it. And this just gave us the opportunity for us to reflect on what we do in our region when we speak about high performance. So going to Brazil, going to Japan, and then we went to the Netherlands, where we spoke a little bit more about amateur football and how it's structured there and how it's different to some of the regions of participants from the course. The Netherlands was so structured, where there was a clear pathway where young players will start training, will get competitions, will have that pathway into adult football and possibly professional football. Again, the opportunity for us to compare and contrast what works best for us, what works in other areas and other countries. So the actual diploma gave us the opportunity to see what happens in other regions, but continuously reflect in your own, to see what's reality in your own region, what ideas you can take from another region and implement them.
Yeah, Anton, I've heard some stakeholders of football in Jamaica talk about their interaction with you, which triggers thoughts in my mind about the sort of interaction and partnership that you will have with other football associations right throughout the Caribbean region, and yes, CONCACAF as well. But because this is a Caribbean show, can you speak briefly on the kind of transfer that you will apply your knowledge to Caribbean Football Union territories?
Well, first I have to start at home. We really engaged in a very in-depth coach education program, starting from our D license all the way up to our A license. We have had persons coming in from the Caribbean to take part in our A license. And then we have actually had a really good relationship with Jamaica, where we have started the A license and we had 2 groups. But because of the opportunity I have to travel, of course, through CONCACAF in our region, I am able to assist Caribbean countries with their coach education, especially the higher level coach education. And in those meetings and courses, we're able to speak to general secretaries, head of coach education, technical directors, and I'm able to share some of the information, knowing the type challenges we have in each country. So this opportunity, once it arises, I am able to help once countries are willing to think, how can we do it in a better way? So that opportunity has been shared with Guyana, Grenada, Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Antigua, Dominica, and other countries that I'm just forgetting the names.
Yeah, so you mentioned specifically with higher level coaching modules. Is that a sort of concession that maybe there aren't enough of them, that, you know, a lot of the coaching modules that Caribbean Football Union coaches are exposed to would just be the tip of the iceberg?
Yes, because before, for you to get an advanced license, you had to either go to the US or go to Europe. What we have done is we have brought persons in from Europe to help design our license. CONCACAF has been very instrumental. Mr. Andre Waugh, who is the development manager of coach education, has actually given us a springboard by bringing in Danny Reiser and a couple of persons to help us design the B license. And then in Trinidad and Tobago, we had FIFA really supporting us. We had the head of coach education, Mr. Branimir Ujovic. We had John Peacock, who's probably the #1 E-license coach in the world, visiting us. Mauricio Marquez from Brazil, who also works for FIFA. So we thought it will be selfish for Trinidad and Tobago alone to gain from this. You know, there's a saying, if my corn has to grow and prosper, then my neighbor's corn also needs to prosper. So we need to make sure it's not just us only, but all the other countries that surrounds us have the opportunity to grow the same way.
Yeah, all right, Anton, we're going to leave it there. We look forward to having more discussions with you on this because the development of football in the Caribbean rests heavily on a program like yours and the knowledge that you have gained from this FIFA project. You could tell your dad hi for us. I met him at the 1987 Pan American Games. It was my first overseas assignment as a journalist, and I know your dad, Alvin Corneal, represented TNT in football and cricket and is one of the iconic names in Trinidad and Tobago's sporting landscape, Anton. So tell your dad hi for us. And
I will for sure.
And enjoy the rest of the year, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay, take care.
Okay, Anton Corneal there. And we'll be back with more on the SportsMax Zone after this.